Hi everybody, my name is Boris. I'm a first-year physician assistant student, and my channel is all about helping people get into PA school. So the biggest question I've gotten so far since I've been making my videos is how do I get in with a low GPA? People tell me I currently have a 3.0, a 2.5, some sort of a not very competitive college GPA, and I really want to be a PA. I really want to get into PA school. So how do I do it? So today, my video is all about that. Just a very quick video, some tips that I have, and a few things I want to say about it, and I really hope this will help some people out. So, the first thing I want to say about your journey as a aspiring PA, someone who really wants to get into PA school, but currently does not have a high GPA, is I really believe in you. If you really want to be a PA, you know that's what you want to do with your life, and you know nothing's going to stop you, you're going to do everything that it takes, I personally really believe that you can do it, because I was exactly in your shoes, and it seemed really daunting, thinking I need, a 3.5, 3.7, and there's literally no amount of credits I can take in a reasonable amount of time that's going to raise my GPA to be competitive. So, should I just give up on my dream? The answer is no, absolutely not. If you want to do it, I believe that you can do it. You'll find a way, especially if you follow my tips. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I really don't want to discourage anybody, but I do need to stress the fact that grades are very important for a prospective PA applicant. So what the schools really need to see is that you're going to be able to handle the curriculum and you're going to be able to handle the academic rigors that the PA profession really brings with it. So you're going to be responsible for people's lives as a medical provider. Yeah, the profession is technically designed to have a doctor over you at all times, but especially the more you grow in seniority, at least from my experience having shadowed PAs and worked with PAs, is a lot of times you're making a lot of very difficult decisions by yourself. Your physician's not always going to be within arm's reach to make a decision for you. So you're definitely not exactly a doctor, but you are making very difficult decisions, and people's lives are in your hands. So it is a very serious career, and you have to be able to understand the human body well enough to do the career well and not hurt people. So it's very important that you're able to handle the academic rigors that come with a medical provider's education. And PA school is basically an accelerated medical provider's education. So grades are extremely important because they tell the admissions committee that you do have the capacity to really handle the curriculum. Another thing is, just strictly for the programs, is once you're in, it's no longer like undergrad where everything is competitive and it's like basically everything's cutthroat and you just have to make it. No, once you're in a PA program, it's in that program's best interest to graduate you and to get you to pass the PANCE. If you don't know, the PANCE is going to be the national exam that you have to pass in order to be a PAC, in order to practice as a PA. So the school has a very vested interest in getting students in that can pass the program, not fail out of the school, and also then pass the PANCE so that that school's rating does not go down. So basically, grades are extremely important to be a successful PA student, and for the schools to trust you enough to accept you into their program. So I can't stress it enough. Grades just are very important. There's no getting away from that. Another thing is, the PA profession was designed as originally it was designed for Navy corpsmen coming back from Vietnam, and they had some hands-on practical medical skills that could really be applied to help a lot of people fill some provider shortages that they had at the time, and we have even more so now, without going all the way through medical school and taking years and years to train a physician. So it was originally designed for people with prior medical experience, which it still kind of is, but fortunately or unfortunately, what's happening now, at least that I've seen, is I've seen fewer and fewer older kind of second career folks who may have been a nurse or a paramedic or anything like that, and more just like younger 21, 22, 23-year-olds right out of college who managed to get excellent grades and also managed to get their healthcare experience hours in the summer or while they were taking school classes. So they were either CMAs, EMTs, or something like that during college. and they're basically getting fast-tracked into the PA profession, which is great because these kids are all really smart, really motivated, and they'll be in the profession for a very long time. So it's definitely a good thing that's happening. The downside for folks like us who may kind of be looking for a second chance and didn't do very well in college, it's now that much harder because there's that many more kids with perfect GPAs, kind of crowding the marketplace. So how do you stand out? So those are the things working against you. Here is how I think you could fix it. The number one way to get around the sheer number of perfect GPA young people kind of outcompeting you just based on numbers alone is to find one or a few programs and make a personal connection with them. That means call the admissions office, take a personalized tour, actually go visit them in person, make a relationship with the admissions dean, anybody in the admissions staff, anyone who you can make a personal connection with so they know you as a person, they know you're solid, they know you're personable, they know you're motivated, anything like that they can see that you're going to be a good pick, but you still do need to prove yourself academically. So the first thing I would do is pick, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many programs you have time to do this with, honestly, and go take a tour, see if you can schedule a one-on-one interview with the admissions staff, and in my experience, they're all more than happy to do so. Maybe not right now with the whole COVID thing going on, but once this all blows over, or do a Skype interview or something, make it work. But that's the first thing you need to do. And ask them, my grades aren't perfect. Do you think there's any way I could have a shot at getting into your program? And if so, how do I do it? Tell me what to do. What would you rather I do? So they might give you some ideas. If they don't, you could bring up some of these because these are my ideas. And this is what I would do to prove to a program that I am actually worthy academically, okay? So my very first tip is to do a pre-medical post-bacc. So these programs are usually designed for medical school. It's usually for people who are not very competitive, who don't have great grades, but they want to go be an MD or a DO. So these programs are everywhere. There's, I don't know about hundreds, but there's just tons of them. And I actually posted a link in the information for this video that gives you all of them that are available in this country. It's from the AAMC, the American College of Medicine. It's from them. So like I said, it's mostly for people who are pre-med, not pre-PA, but in my personal experience, it works great as pre-PA as well. So what these programs do is they give you a structured, full-time, usually 2 semesters. Sometimes they're 2 years, but I think they're usually 1 year, 2 semesters. A very structured curriculum of higher level pre-medical classes, sometimes some proprietary classes as well, and also guidance along your pre-medical track. So it's basically extra training and very good classes with a design curriculum just for you to kind of fill in the holes that you might have in your application. So like I said, they're usually for medical students. I was the only pre-PA in my program, and I think we had 12. I can't remember anymore. But I think we had like 12 people. They were all pre-med, and I was the only pre-PA. So don't be discouraged by that. Look into these programs. It might be a great way to go. So that's the upside. If you do well, it's the upside. The downside is it's a very high risk, high reward kind of a situation. The reason I say that is a lot of them are very expensive. It's a whole year at least of college. So that's $50, $60, $70, $100,000 depending on where you go. Not to mention living expenses. And this is technically not undergrad anymore, so I don't even know if you could get grants or loans for this or anything. I think you can get loans. I just don't think you're eligible for grants anymore. So you're definitely taking a huge financial risk. Also, if you get to the end of it and you don't do well, not only did you just waste a year of your life and pay a lot of money, but you didn't actually get anything. You have a certificate that you finished a post-bacc, but that's honestly, that really isn't anything. It's not like a certification or a degree or anything that'll really get you anywhere. It's honestly nothing unless it's used as a pre-medical booster like it is for medical and PA folks that use them. So unless you do very, very well and it gets you into the program you want to be in, a post-bacc It just wastes a ton of money and time, honestly. So like I said, very high risk, high reward. But if you do well, it looks really good on you, and it basically gives you everything you need to become competitive. It definitely worked in my case. Oh, and also, just real quick, I know on one of my videos, some people were asking which program I did. It was at Cornell University, and unfortunately, the last couple of years, they haven't taken students, and I don't know if they ever will again. I've spoken to some of the faculty of that program in the last year, and they said that they don't know when they're going to reopen it, if they're going to reopen it. So my information might be a few months old, something might have changed, but as far as I know right now, the one at Cornell that I did is not available at this time. But also, like I said, I posted a link for you to the AAMC list of all the pre-medical post-baccs in the country, so you can find one in your area or wherever you want to be, and pick one from that. Okay, so anyway, number 1 on my list is post-bacc. Number 2 on my list is you can kind of make your own post-bacc. You don't have to do a structured one from the list that I gave you. You can go to a local college, a local community college, whatever is convenient for you and affordable for you. You can basically make your own post-bacc. So the drawback here is it's not structured, and you can kind of do what you will with it, and it may not end up well. So if you do end up designing your own post-bacc, here's what I would kind of focus on. So first off, make sure you take a full curriculum. All right, this is kind of a big one for people because they have to take time off work, or it's really hard to work full time and take a full curriculum, but it's important. This is exactly what the Dean of Admissions told me when I was trying to apply to my PA school, is we really need to see that you can handle a full curriculum of upper level biology and chemistry courses. It doesn't count if you just take 1 at a time or 2 at a time and you get A's. It just doesn't show them that you can handle a very tough full course load. So if you are going to design your own post-bacc, you need to take a full load. Also, you need to take mostly upper level biology classes. So that doesn't mean, Bio 101, Philosophy, Psych 101, and genetics. No, you need to take like 3 difficult, 300, 400 level, upper level biology classes. Things like biochemistry, bacteriology, pharmacology, genetics, things like that. Things that actually need prereqs to be able to take them. And maybe one class that's like something you think would be valuable, like sociology or modern medicine or anything that you think would be interesting. But definitely keep it mostly difficult biology classes, anything medical related. And of course, if you're missing any prerequisites, if you need any for the schools you're looking at applying to, this is a great time to fill them in. But again, if some of your prerequisites are kind of lower level and easier, maybe take 1 of those and then 3 harder classes. Basically, just to prove that you can handle a full load and still get very good grades. Just like, however, I said with the post-bacc, you gotta get the good grades or otherwise this whole thing doesn't really work out. So that is important. 3, after a post-bacc or a make your own post-bacc, number 3 on my list is a master's in some sort of bio, like a molecular biology master's or some kind of research-based master's program, where you can basically just prove yourself academically that you can handle graduate level work in the biology field. However, this is probably my least favorite on the list for several reasons. 1, it's just like the post-bacc where it doesn't really get you much unless you really want to go into research. And if you do, if you think that might be a fallback career for you, cool, definitely do it then. But if you're really looking at being a provider, going into medicine, a master's in biology of any sort really isn't going to do a whole lot for you. Also, another thing I don't like about it is that graduate level grades are not mixed with your undergrad grades in your CASPA. So you'll again kind of have to explain, hey, this is my GPA, I had a 3.8, a 4.0, whatever, in my master's program. So you need to tell the admissions folks that you need to look at that. It's my last, however many credit hours I've gotten have all been really good, even though my undergrad GPA was not very good. So you have to have that explanation. And then another thing is, this is just kind of hearsay in the biology community, but a lot of master's programs, their grading is kind of unreliable. It's not really designed the same way that undergraduate grading is, where it's kind of like a screen people in and out for things like medical school or PA school. So I know that's kind of vague, but just it seems to be the general feeling a lot of people have in the community about master's programs is they don't really reliably test your academic ability. Not all of them anyway. I don't want to say anything bad about master's programs. I'm just saying that's kind of the feeling I've gotten from a few folks I've spoken with. So master's would probably be the last thing I'd do if I was in your shoes. And then last but not least, this one is kind of specific. Number 4, if it's possible with the prereqs or the degree you already have to roll that into something else, like a bachelor's in nursing or respiratory therapy or something like that, that's another medical field. Maybe you can knock it out in like a year or 2 years even if you want to commit that. That would be a really great way to go. 1, it gives you a chance to get your grades up, assuming that you do very well. So your last however many credits you take for that program, 30, 40, 50, would be good grades. So that's definitely good for your PA application. Also, it's clinically related, and a lot of times the training there will actually get you hours. So you're increasing your GPA and increasing your hours and your skills and medical knowledge. But also, even more importantly than that, it's a fallback. If the PA thing doesn't work out, or it just doesn't work out right now, when you're out of this, you have a BSN, or you're a respiratory therapist. And so you're making good money, you're getting great experience, you're meeting PAs and doctors and making connections. So it's just a really good way to go if it's something that's possible for you. And who knows, you might love being a nurse, you might love being a respiratory therapist. So it's definitely a good option to look at if it's possible for you. Okay? So those are my 4 tips on how I would get into PA school if you currently have a low undergraduate GPA. Well, I guess 5 tips. The first one, just to recap, being make a personal connection with several schools. And then the first main tip is to do a post-bacc. Then second is to build your own post-bacc. Third is to do some sort of a biology master's. And fourth is to get a different BSN degree, or a different bachelor's degree. Sorry, it's late and I can't think anymore. But anyway, a different bachelor's degree like a BSN or like a respiratory therapist. Something like that you could get medical experience with, raise your grades, and also kind of have a fallback plan to the whole PA profession, just in case. You know, it's always good to be smart. So anyway, like I said, my name is Boris. I'm a first-year PA student. This channel is about helping people get into PA school, so if anyone has any questions, please feel free to comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, or just send me an email. My email is in the information for this video. If you want me to read your personal statement, if you need any personal advice, anything like that, I'm very happy to help. So go ahead and reach out if anybody wants to. Otherwise, have a great day. Stay safe out there. The COVID is everywhere. So stay safe, everybody, okay? Have a great day.